came here today. We love you. People all over the world. For an answer, won't say gave the key. Yeah. Cannot lie. Be lifted up from the earth. Out from all men. Lift the Savior up. Keep on lifting him up. Until he's free from eternity. Cannot lie. Be lifted up from the earth. Draw all men. You know that the world is hungry. They want to live in bread. The Savior up, the Savior up. He wants everybody to live. Trust God, never doubt the word God said. He said, I'll draw all men. Lift the Savior up. Keep on lifting him up. Until he's free from eternity. Cannot lie. Be lifted up from the earth. Draw all men. Draw all men. Keep on lifting him up. Keep on lifting him up. Until he's free from eternity. Cannot lie. Be lifted up from the earth. Draw all men. Keep pressing onward, we draw all men. No doubt about it, we'll draw all men.
Ooh, lift well say, lift well
Wow.
say.
That's a dope song.
Beautiful.
God.
Haven't heard that song
Lift
for a
it
long
up, lift
time.
it up.
I
Lift well
say,
said. Yes.
Brother Jeruba
Beautiful.
Osborne.
yes. Stones of Fire.
Oh shit.
He's an OG.
Oh shit.
of Stones of Fire. Ancestor. So Uncle Johnson Neb will say family. It's great to see all the beautiful faces. I'm just looking around and I mean lift Wose. We have lifted Wose. Look what we have done. 40 years of lifting.
See?
So it's good to see everyone. And so now as we move forward, just saying that's going in my mind. Y'all know the song, part of the song, but it says, ain't no justice. So right now, we're gonna bring forth our candle of justice. And it's gonna be brought to us by Brother Bamadeli. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
That's fine. Good morning. Good morning, Wose.
Good morning.
Let me say that let us go back to approximately 1.5 centuries ago, about 158 years ago. If there is one persistent theme in the history of the African presence in the United States of America, it is Black people's enduring quest for freedom, and of course, this enduring quest for justice. This desire for freedom and justice stretches back to the period of bonded servitude, or what many people describe as slavery. Many plantation owners many plantation owners found it difficult to acknowledge that during the latter days of slavery, the peculiar institution, as some called it, became less profitable and more problematic to manage, especially enslaved men, women, and children. Those held captive to a system of bonded servitude on the plantation struck out against it. They ran away from the plantation, and when they did not run away, they broke tools and they broke equipment. Their defiance also included a strategy of work slowdowns, and at times it included poisoning farm animals, the source of the plantation owners' protein-rich diet. And the historic record also informs us that many captives too were charged with lethal poisoning directed toward the plantation owners themselves. Those held in bondage also exercised some sense of agency and cultural resistance as they attempted to implant a sense of their Africanity in North America. We remember they continued to give African-derived names to their young, prepared African-derived foods for consumption, but they also practiced African-derived spiritual traditions that we variously call hoodoo, voodoo, root work, and conjure. We remember that through folk tales, fables, and other oral traditions, the old ones always nurtured in their young a burning sense of desire for freedom. Change was in the air. So on January 1st, 1863, 158 years ago, Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president of the United States, issued an executive order, the Emancipation Proclamation, that declared that states rebelling against the Union, that, quote, all persons held as slaves shall thenceforward, and forever free. This proclamation changed the legal status of 3.5 million persons of African ancestry in bondage servitude. But there were challenges that proved problematic to enforcing this proclamation. Furthermore, the proclamation did not change the status of more than 4 million held in bondage servitude in those states that did not secede from the Union. But in 1865, with the end of the Civil War, slavery would be abolished. But what would be the legal status of those once held enslaved? Between 1865 and 1870, landmark legislation would amend the Constitution of the United States of America. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery in the United States. The 14th Amendment granted citizenship and equal protections under the laws. And the 15th Amendment granted men the right to vote. So today we light the candle of justice in remembrance of the newly emancipated, the newly conferred citizens, and the newly enfranchised who nevertheless lived with all of the social turmoil rooted in a post-Civil War America. They fought the Black codes that emerged throughout the South. Such codes or laws sought to constrain the possibilities of Black life, limit Black freedom, and stunt Black opportunities for growth. African Americans lived in a society that insisted on a rigid caste-like stratification system that accorded privileges and opportunities based on phenotype or physical appearance. The evolution of American law over the last 158 years reflects the profound tension between proscriptions or limitations and imperfect legal reforms. W.E.B. Du Bois, at the beginning of the century, recorded in his book, The Souls of Black Folk, published in 1903, that, quote, the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line, the relation of the darker to the lighter races in Asia and Africa, in America, and the islands of the sea, end of quote. This color line defines and indeed imprints society today, such that, as historian Isabel Wilkerson informs us, that in the 21st century, we still see color-based caste system, and it is the origin of our discontent. We light the candle of justice for those who stepped out on their faith and fought valiantly against the injurious caste system as they also fought against slavery. We light the candle of justice for those who did not flee their responsibilities, but stepped into a bold new world and raised a generation of race men and race women, the fighters that would follow them. We light the candle of justice to those who have made their ascent now to ancestorhood and who continue to watch us as we address this abiding quest for justice and freedom today. We light the candle of justice for those who, with their skills, had already built a nation in which they live. They built schools, they founded banks, they educated their young, and they inspired them to become freedom fighters and seekers of justice. Moreover, they served even as legislators in bodies across the country. We light the candle of justice for those who stood on the cusp of profound change 158 years ago. And in the face, uh, of turbulent times, and in the face of dangerous, despicable dastards, they resolutely sang, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. My God gave it to me. I'm going to let it shine." And so let me conclude by saying, Ashe, Amen Ra, and we light this candle of justice for those who lived 158 years ago, who witnessed profound change as they attempted to continue to change the world in which we live.
Ashe. Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
As the candles are lit, I see that fire, Sister Aziza. I see it burning bright, Brother Katabazi. Sister Debbie, I see that bright light of justice. Yes, Brother Bamadele, I see that. Brother Malik, shine your light. That's it. Minister Alicia, shine your light. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Justice will be ours. Justice is ours because we are children of God.
Mama
So,
Kanke, can I interrupt for a second and have a word,
yes.
please?
Yes.
Okay, you know, I hate to talk when it's not my turn, but I just want to I just want to say to those who don't know that Brother Bamadele is the curator of the African American Museum and Library in downtown Oakland. He's the actual curator of that. But last week, after I gave my my historical tribute and I talked about the International Civil Rights Museum, in Greensboro, North Carolina, he also told me that he was the original curator there, right? So I just want us at WOSE to know we have heavy hitters in our midst, all right? So Brother Bamidele, thank you for that lighting of justice and thank you for participating this morning. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ashe, and thank you, Baba Tai, for that. That was, we needed that. Thank you so much. Right. So now another one of our rituals is music. Gotta have music, right? Music feeds our soul. Prayer bathes our soul. Music feeds our soul. Because I know some great person that said, when the music of a people turns towards greatness,
yes,
a people of greatness soon reappear.
Say that.
So right now, I'm going to ask for the sweet sounds from the sounds of Mott.
Ashe, Mama. How are you? How's everybody doing this morning? Determined?
Good morning.
Upful? Okay, we're going to give you an upful one today. All right?
Ashe.
Okay, here we go, family. I gave thanks this morning, contemplated what I had to do. Every day I come to play, I'm all in, down to make it do just what it do. See, some sit on the sidelines, got their reasons why they didn't come to swing the bat. But for that Yappers brother just ain't falling. Cause where we be if that be where it's at? Sing it. We're the people of the sun, and we came to get it done. All this funk ain't just for fun. We gon' drive, drum gon' pop until my folks are one. If you ain't putting work in for the people, then tell me how you justify your time. Don't don't you know that after you's a sequel? So how you gonna pay it down the line? The universe has got me, I'm so blessed now. Nature guides me every day I wake. Ancestors, they got me, I ain't stressed now. Guided by them, do it for their sake. The people of the sun, and we came to get it done. All this funk ain't just for fun. We gon' drive until my folks are one. And a little bit of love and child. The people of the sun, we came to get it done. All this funk ain't just for fun. We gon' drive until my folks are one. Put in work in for the people. Then tell me how you justify your time. Say, don't you know that after you's a sequel? So how you finna pay it down the line? The universe has got me, I'm so blessed now. Nature guides me every day I wake. Ancestors, they got me, I ain't stressed now. Guided by them, do it for their sake. Oh, the people of the sun, and we came to get it done. All this funk ain't just for fun. We gon' drive until my folks are one. The people of the sun, and we came to get it done. All this funk ain't just for fun. We gon' drive.
All right now, people of the sun, we come to get it done. Live well, say. Ashe, ashe. Thank you, Baba David. And I think I heard Mama Latrice there in the background. So thank you, Sounds of Mott, who always give us something to lift our spirits, give us something to think about, to contemplate on, and to celebrate. So we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. So right now, you know, it's a lot been happening this past week. I'm glad that we're able to be here today to breathe and to celebrate who we are and to get our souls bathed and to get our spirits uplifted. So with the events of the week, I'm going to have Mama Nkechi is going to give us some information because she has it for us. So she's gonna give us an update from ground zero. Mama Nkechi.
Thank you very much, Mama Akanke. This is Nkechi Taipa reporting from Ground Zero, Washington, D.C., a scant 10 miles from the U.S. Capitol. So what happened Wednesday was neither hooded nor hidden. It was a brazen, open in your face expression of white supremacist terrorism. I would like to share just 3 points that epitomize what has happened. First, number one, terrorism, chaos, bedlam, extremism, violence, fanaticism, coup, and lynch mobs in America is nothing new. And it peeves me that the media consistently refers to it as something that has not happened before in America. I am not shocked. This is what they did to us in the race massacres of Wilmington, North Carolina, which was an actual in-your-face coup, dismantling the legitimately elected multiracial government in 1898, okay? Rosewood, Florida, where folk were forced to hide, not under seats and tables in a Senate chamber, but forced to hide and shiver in infested swamps, leaving their property and their worldly goods behind. In Elaine, Arkansas, terrorism murders, Tulsa, Oklahoma, the first time a bomb was dropped on a city, and folk are still fighting for redress. The script is the same, and in so many countless others. A Black person in America has no rights which a white man or woman has ever respected. Terror then and terror now. So this is nothing new. Number two, every single conversation with Black folk that I've had, whether it has been with top leaders or whether it's been with grassroots activists, bar none, the reality of the double standard of law enforcement treatment between Blacks and whites will now never, ever be doubted by anyone. I mean, even the Black Capitol police officers called them, racist ass, opening the barriers and inviting them in, flashing their badges, guiding them, gingerly walking elderly Karens who had just stormed and vandalized the Capitol down the steps, taking selfies with terrorists, not arresting anyone despite felonies having been committed in their presence, even beating one of their own to death with a fire hydrant. White people can do anything with impunity, and they know it. That has got to change. The double standard is daunting. An overwhelming 316 people arrested during Black Lives Matter protests on June 1st, and a scant 61 arrests, just a scant. It was only about 10 when it was going on. It only beefed up just a little bit to 61 on the insurrection on January 6th. Whether you call it bad apples or systemic or infiltration, doesn't matter. I don't really give a hot damn because we interact with them at our peril. My next point will surely be controversial, but we are living in contentious times. For our own safety, Black folks' standard must be to treat all police, indeed all white people, with caution until their individual behaviors prove otherwise. And please let us not get this twisted. This is not just about Donald Trump. This is about half of this country, half. Donald Trump can stay on the golf course for the rest of his life and it won't make a difference. The country was founded on genocide and enslavement. And last week doesn't show anything else. It made plain that half of this country wants to return to those founding pillars. And then finally, point number three. Number three has got to unequivocally be what we gonna do. What can we do? What must we do? We must remain vigilant. This will likely get worse before it gets better. I've heard information that there are white supremacist terrorist events / protests / insurrections planned for January 11th in Olympia, Washington, January 16th in Washington, D.C., January 17th in all 50 capitals, January 18th in Richmond, Virginia, January 19th through 20th, classified as violent events. 3 governors' mansions have been breached, requiring law enforcement responses where the governors have had to retreat into their safe rooms. There's an African proverb: one does not make a shield in the battlefield. We are definitely in the battlefield now. But if our shields are not already created, and if our spears are not already sharpened, I must submit, I have to submit that it's still never too late. We must protect ourselves. We must protect our families. We must protect our communities. We must protect the Black nation. We must protect our race. And in closing, as Baba Sidney so eloquently called upon the spirits of our ancestors during their libation, I know I'm looking forward to guidance over the next week or so from our Sister of Security, Sister Mama Conke Payton, and other members of the WOSE community in terms of just what we as a community are going to be able to do to protect ourselves. Ashe.
Ashe, Mama Nkechi, thank you. Much needed information. And yes, we have to have the conversation. We have to have the action, we'll say. So that is upcoming. Thank you so much. Whew. So now at this point, we're going to have another selection from the Sounds of Mott. And today, I'll tell you something that Ray Charles, this is another musical piece. I'll tell you something that Ray Charles said about music. He said, music is powerful. People listen to it and they can be affected. They respond. And just in light with what Mama Nkechi shared with us, it made me think of those children of Soweto when they prepared themselves. That music, that rhythm inside of them brought them that warrior spirit. Our music is powerful. And so with that, I'm going to ask the Sounds of Mott to bring us another piece. Thank you.
All right, Mama, give me just a moment. Trying to get to my wit. All right. All right, family, sorry for that. This is along with the times, y'all. All my life seems we've been paying dues. We didn't start this war, but we refused to lose. As a youth, I had to wake up early, no time to snooze. Segment in my sister's voice while I play these blues. If you can hear me better, overstand, it's time to choose. We didn't start this war, but we refused to lose. They roll back policies and repeal more laws, yeah. Their aims and means lined up with Confederate cause. But they ain't taking nothing here without a fight. They ever come for me, we're taking more of them that night. All my life, we've been paying dues. My grands and my dad did, so I refuse to lose. Mama and Big Mama paid too many dues. We bring in Shango, Oya, Storm, and a deep-ass crew. If you can hear me better, understand it's time to choose. Yeah. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. All I want to see is a world at peace, and to freely worship Ra when it rises in the east. For the balance to restore, gotta shackle the beast. And since we guided by the most, we ain't selling for least. See, all my life, we've been paying dues. My grands and my dad didn't, so I refuse to lose. Mama and Big Mama paid too many tunes. We bringin' Shango, Oya, Storm, and a deep-ass crew. If you can hear me better, understand it's time to choose. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. Some children may illin' and don't know Earth's way. Gonna be up to us to bring better days. Whatever it takes, wherever you stand. Pick up swords and plows and heal the land. All my life seems they've been paying dues. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. As a youth, I had to wake up early, no time to snooze. Second minute in my sister's voice while I play these blues. If you can't hear me better, understand it's time to choose. It's time to choose. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. All my life seems I've been paying dues. My granddad did, so I refuse to lose. Mama and Big Mama paid too many dues. We're bringing Django, Boy, a Storm, and a deep-ass crew. If you can hear me better, understand it's time to choose. Cause we didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. But we sure gonna finish. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose. We didn't start this war, but we refuse to lose.
A man has a right to defend his castle with his life, even unto the taking of life. Sir, my house is my castle. In that castle are none but my wife and my children, as free as the angels of heaven, and whose liberty is as sacred as the pillars of God. If any man approaches that house in search of a slave, I care not who he may be, whether constable or sheriff, magistrate, or even judge of the Supreme Court. Nay, let it be the president, surrounded by his cabinet as his bodyguard, with the Declaration of Independence waving above his head as his banner, and the Constitution of his country upon his breast as his shield. If he crosses the threshold of my door, and I do not lay him his lifeless corpse at my feet, I hope the grave may refuse my body a resting place, and righteous heaven my spirit a home. Oh no, he cannot enter that house, and we both live. Martin,
Ashe.
we refuse.
Ooh.
Sounds of Mott sounding crucial.
Whoa, ashe, ashe. Spirit. Baba
Thank
David,
you, Brother David.
thank you, thank you. We may have to hear that at the end of service again. But in line of talking about security and safety, I would ask Minister Motep, will you share about this Wednesday's class, please?
Yes, this Wednesday's class will focus on safekeeping, an introduction to safety and survival culture by Miss Mariana. And it's going to be good. This is one of her major focuses. She not only presents and talks about it, but she lives this type of lifestyle. So it's something that we should pay attention to, and it should be a good session. So thank you, Mama Kanke, for asking me to clarify what's happening this Wednesday.
Okay, thank you. So that's going to be on the regular WOSE channel, and it begins at
5 or 1700 hours Pacific Standard Time. For those of you that are on the East Coast, that's around 8 o'clock. So we'll see you then, and looking forward to it. Baba Kofi and all of them, and then Kofi, I see you there. Next week is the The Fruit of Your Loins, Dr. Manu Ampim, and he's going to be talking about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So,
Ashe.
big up.
Thank you, Minister Imhotep.
Yeah, everybody that's available should try to check in Wednesday night, get some information.
Ashe, ashe.
Well, and I just want to say, Nikichi, that was top ranking. That
Yes,
was top
indeed.
ranking. You know, that was.
Yeah, serious times, y'all, serious times. So as we know, people without the knowledge of their past history, origins, and culture is like a tree without roots. That's our ancestor, Marcus Garvey, has given us that. That's something that we have done, presented every week, except for on special occasions, knowledge of ourselves, of our past, our culture, our origins, through our historical tributes. So 40 years of history, we'll say, has given, has shared with our people. So today I'd like to present Minister Malley, who will bring forth our historical tribute.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We'll say community and family. Ankh Ujan Seneb. I hope I'm getting it correctly because I want to be on that. It's an honor to bring the tribute. Sister Ankake, with that introduction, you almost intimidate me because I understand that this has an ongoing tradition that has a significant part of the service. And I just have to say, so far the service has been so powerful that I almost thought maybe my tribute was a little bit minor compared to some of the spirit that everyone has been bringing on the service so far. I thought today I would share the historical tribute of someone in the medical care community. We are talking about the pandemic, and now we have the vaccine, and there is more than a dubious history that we have had when it comes to medical care, medicine, and the society. So I thought I would share someone historically that actually is a positive contribution to medical care and actually made an impact on the approach to medical care in the Black community that isn't always acknowledged in our history books, especially with the oncoming of Black History Month next month. So my historical tribute is on a Dr. Anthony L. Jordan. When we think about medicine and doctors, for us, the dubious relationship of things like the Scottsboro Boys and the Tuskegee experiments have more than given us a dubious relationship with the society and the government, especially in light of now we have the pandemic and the vaccine. Dr. Anthony L. Jordan also came along during a time when the Black community was also facing some dubious times in society. Dr. Jordan was born in 1896 in Guyana, in the city of Georgetown, Guyana. He migrated to the United States to practice medicine after being educated actually in pre-law. He changed to pre-med because the Black folks he was in school with told him that law wasn't a place for the Black man, that you wouldn't have too many customers if you wanted to be a lawyer. So him having a young new family decided he would do medicine. And he then migrated to North Carolina after attending school at Howard University. Once again, one of our HBCUs was the founding of a pre-med for a pretty preeminent doctor. He started his practice after internship in North Carolina and then moved to Rochester, New York, where he opened a clinic in 1932. Now, opening a clinic during the midst of the Depression probably wasn't a wise move in the eyes of most other people. But Dr. Jordan decided to do it because, one, it was a depression, and a lot of Black folks in the community were struggling with their health and their neighborhood concerns. But also, the Black codes that was being practiced in the South was not just limited to the South. In fact, in New York, there was many hospitals that wouldn't treat Black folks unless they were well off. So in 1932, Dr. Jordan opened a clinic, and he started a practice that became known as what is now commonly called house calls. He was the first doctor who decided not to wait until if whether or not people could make it to his clinic. He started going to the folks in the community. And in Rochester, New York, he started going to door to help people with their ailments. And he specifically focused on Black folks who were lower income, treating folks whether or not they had the money to pay him. He even accepted trade, like food stuff, like pies and chicken dinners. He accepted trade in services, as well as minimum amount payments. He truly was a doctor for the people. Dr. Jordan not only did that treatment, but he also later on began involved in other things besides medicine. He challenged the arrangement of Black folks who were being hired for work. He started challenging the amount of Black folks that was being given city jobs, Black folks on the police force. He moved amongst the community and did not limit himself just to medicine. He was honored and rewarded with recognition because he treated folks and continued to do house calls all the way up to failing health in 1971, where his eyesight started to go out. Later on, they found that he was having cancer. And so in 1973, he passed. In 1972, they opened up a health center, which they named in his honor. In 1973, after his death in 1971, they opened up the clinic's health center, and it is open to this day. One of the main things, the reason why I'm raising up this man a historical tribute is, unlike those who may have been known like Dr. Daniel Held Williams for great innovations, he was a man who was simply dedicated to treating folks in the community where they were at. And I think that's also kind of a spiritual message for us. If we're concerned about the pandemic and how to support one another, if we're also concerned about some of the knucklehead foolishness that's going on in DC, our first and foremost concern is to be where we are, is to be supportive for one another. And our first concern is about the welfare, our spiritual, physical, and emotional health. And that is something that Dr. Jordan embodied in his service. Ashe.
Ashe, Minister Molly. Dr. Jordan. So we lift his name up and we thank him. I remember house calls when I was a young girl.
Shit.
And
Yeah.
yeah, wow. And I, thought it would be such a great idea now.
Minister Malley, would you give us Dr. Jordan's first name again, please?
Anthony
Jordan.
L. Jordan. There is a health center named after him in Rochester, New York. And he also has a memorial plaque in Rochester, New York.
Thank you, my brother.
You're welcome.
He brought that spirit to the U.S. from outside of this land.
Yes. We are the most beautiful people on the face of this.
Ashe.
Yes. Whew. So now it's time for our litany. It's time that anytime that we're giving you know, we're being given to, we're being fed, we're can listen and learn. We also have this opportunity at this time of giving. That's part of the reciprocity of life. That is life, is reciprocity. It goes round and round. We give, we receive. And so I'm gonna ask Mama Ngina and Brother Desmond if they would bring us the litany this morning. Thank you.
Good morning all. This is Mama Ngina again. And yes, we still have bills to pay. We still have the lights and the water that we have to keep on. And when we do our litany, this is giving back to our community and actually to ourselves for the gifts that the Most High has given to us. So the litany of sacrifice reads as follows. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, our prayers, divine protector. Listen to the words of our mouths. How can we repay the gifts that you have given us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call on the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to you, O Amun Ra, and we will lift up the cup of salvation and call on the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to you, O Creator, in the presence of all our people. Gladly, Most High, we bring our sacrifices to you. We will praise your name, O Amun Ra, for it is good. Our first principle is the Moja, unity. We shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race.
Kujichagulia, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our own businesses and together profit from them.
Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and development of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Kaumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Imani, faith. We shall believe with all our hearts in our Creator, our God, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Victory of our struggles.
Ashe. Baba
Ashe.
Desmond.
Amun Ra and the Netaru, thank you for having us here today. Thank you for us being present and being able to wake up this week with all the craziness and anarchy in this nation and around the world. Help protect us as our people. We're the first and we will be the last. Help us to be strong. Help us to be resilient. Help us to persevere. Help us to excel. Help us to strive. Help us to thrive. Help us to restore us to our traditional greatness that once we were. We just thank you and we honor you. And we ask that you Amun Ra, and the ancestors and the Netaru watch over us until we meet again next Sunday. Help us to focus on Umoja, unity. Sometimes we think about power. And when people think about power, they think about conquering the world. They think about taking over everything. Red flags are raised, such as white power that's going on in the nation right now. Power is an afterthought. Help us to focus on unity, Umoja, as we come together. Help us to focus on Black solidarity, Black sovereignty. Help us to focus on working together as a community, keeping us strong to defend ourselves, to uplift our community. We know that if we have Black solidarity, Black unity, and Black Umoja, the afterthought, the effect will be Black power. So help us to focus on us coming together and protecting ourselves and working together to uplift our communities and to share our resources and use our gifts to help each other out and help the community and the nation. And all these things we say, Ashe, Amen, Akuja, Seneb, and Asante Sana.
And may the Most High move that have been given.
Ashe.
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 So thank you. So hopefully everyone was able to, if you needed the address to send any givings, it was posted. If not, put it in the chat if you need information in reference to where you can send your offerings. So we've come to that time in service where we've had our prayers, we had libation, we invited our ancestors to join us. We've been bathed by prayer. We've been lifted up in prayer. We've been soothed with music, and it's that time for our message coming to us today by Minister Alicia, someone who, just in thought, I'm thinking of her right now, and it's like she brings us these grassroots messages, right? Those messages that just sit so well within our spirits, that take us through our daily lives. She's a beautiful mother and someone who has raised, I think she has 9 children, am I correct?
Yes.
And if you know her children are calm and peaceful and loving children, and so that's what she brings. She has love for her people, and she brings her messages to us very calmly, but sternly, in the way that we instill things within our children to help them to grow to be the best. And so I always look forward to her messages that she brings to us. I know the other day that Minister Motep kind of put her, I forget exactly what he said, but it's like, yeah, she brings it. And he looks forward to her messages, as well as I'm sure everyone else. So without any further chatter from me, I ask Minister Alicia to bless us and to honor us with the message today.
Ashe, give thanks and praises to the Most High. Greetings to you all. Amen Ra Hetep. Thank you ever so much for joining us today. I'm so thankful to be here in this time and in this place. I'm thankful to be able and capable to see you all. I'm thankful to be healthy and strong. I'm thankful to be able to be in a community such as Wose. I am thankful every day for these things. So today, let's get this knowledge, let's get this wisdom, let's get this understanding. And as the Most High brings it down, let my mouth convey it to you. So right now, as we were talking, throughout the service, like, we're living in troubled times. And a lot of people say that, and then I keep thinking, we've always lived in troubled times. Every time in every age, there's been trouble. And I'm not sure when there was a point in time when there wasn't a lot of trouble. There was there was always something, because here, what we're doing here is for perfection of our spirit. We're not here to live in a perfected, peaceful life and then just pass away. Like, okay, I'm born, everything is peaceful for my entire life. I'm gliding through life, and then I'm gonna pass away into the atmosphere. Now I'm an ancestor. We uplift our ancestors because we see the struggles that they had to endure and what they have overcome through their strength and through their courage and through their tenacity and through their love for their people and through their minds, through their spirits, through their souls. So so that's what we're here for, and that's what this world is. It's going to be trouble. But even when you read in the words in the Hosea, it feels like when I'm reading these words, sometimes I'm feeling like these people just wrote this last Wednesday. This had to have happened. They just wrote this down last Wednesday. So with that, I'm going to come to you. The freedom writings are in the Hosea in the book of contemplation. We're on page 85, number 1 in the book of Neferti. And it says, and His Majesty Pharaoh Senefru said, "Come, Neferti, my friend, and speak to me some beautiful words and well-chosen phrases that might please me upon hearing them." And the teacher priest Neferti deplored what he had come to pass in Egypt, speaking on the condition in the east where Asiatic peoples roam in strength, frightening those about to harvest their crops and seizing cattle, even at the plow. He said, "Be moved my heart and mourn for this land in which you were born. For there is silence before evil. What should be condemned is feared, and the great are overthrown in the land of your birth. Tire not while this evil exists. Rise up against that which is before you. For lo, the great no longer rule the land, and what was established has now been undone. May Ra begin to re-establish this land, for it is ruined and nothing of value remains. Not even the black of a nail has escaped this fate. Lo, the land is destroyed, and there are none to care for it. There are none who speak and none who weep. How then fares this land?" And number 2 says, "I shall speak of what is before me. I will never foretell that which is not to come. A strange bird will breed in the Delta Marsh and make its nest beside the people of Egypt. For the people will let it approach through lack of action. And afterwards, all good things will pass away. Beasts of the desert will drink at the river of Egypt and take their ease on the shores, for they will have no one to fear. The land is in turmoil, and no one knows what will come to pass. For what the future will bring is hidden. And as it is said, when sight and hearing fail, the many, those who cannot speak, will lead." Okay. And also, I'm going to read to you portions of the story of a star. And from the version that comes from the Metuneter, volume 2, by Ron Nefer-Amen. And I'm going to encourage you guys to, I'm only going to read portions of it, and I'm going to encourage you guys to either try to very important for us to have in our working knowledge. So these are the portions. When he and King of Kemet, the men came to rule were in a savage state. They were nomadic tribes in constant warfare against each other. They were wholly given over to evil and sinful behavior. He brought civilization and spirituality to the people, enabling them thus to achieve prosperity. He gave them a body of laws to regulate their conduct, settled their disputes justly, and instructed them in the science of spiritual development. He shared the rulership of the land with the queen mother Aset, who domesticated wild barley and wheat, along with the Sar who taught men the art of agriculture, the tilling of the soil, cultivation of the grains and of fruit trees. They also laid the material foundations for the development and growth of civilization. Brothers no longer lifted up their hands against each other. There was prosperity and peace throughout the land of Kemet. Having civilized Kemet, he turned the government of his native land to Aset and traveled around the world to spread the same instructions. He induced people to accept his teachings, not by force of arms, but by the use of persuasive lectures, spiritual hymns, and music. Wherever he went, he brought peace and learning to the people. And then I'm going to skip ahead in the story to Set's rule. And it says, meanwhile, Set usurped the throne of Astar and reigned over the land of Kemet. Law and order, which followed from the moral upliftment of the people, was replaced by the use of force. Everywhere men were robbed of their possessions and land through legal, unjust means. Once owners, they were now renters and wage earners. Tyranny and the law of might prevailed as the divine law was repealed. Everywhere the followers of Asar who lived by Ma'at were persecuted. And now I'm going to skip to the end of the story where it says this. As Set's government was based on might and pure deception, where force could not openly be applied, his words were found to be untrue. It was shown that in most instances, he contradicted and violated the laws that he imposed on others. On the other side, Asar and Haru had been shown to live by the laws they promulgated. Thus they were found to be Ma'ak Haru, true of word. Thus the great quarrel was settled on the basis of right over might. The night which this great verdict was awarded is known as the Kemetic spiritual tradition as the Kur Uchau Metut, the night of the weighting of the words. Ashe. So today we're going to talk about governed by choice, not by force. Okay, so the Greek word govern, it means to steer or to rule. Govern means to conduct the policy, actions, affairs of a state, organization, or a people. It means to control, to influence, regulate a person, action, or course of events. It means to conduct oneself, especially with regards to controlling one's emotions. So again, governed by choice, not by force. If anybody, I'm taking an aside real quick. If anybody were to know me personally, here's the thing about me. I can't really be governed by force because it's just something I don't listen to that type of thing. Like if the more you try to force me to do something, the more it's not going to get done. The more you try to like compel me physically to do something, the more it's just like not going to come out the way that you intended. So trying to force someone to do something to me is kind of like you're trying to get that now response, but you're not going to change future behaviors. So, okay, you want to force me to do this. First of all, you're probably not going to get it done. Second of all, if you get it done, don't plan on having it done in the future. Don't having this continue to be, this is not going to be part of my life for me continuing to do this action. So it would behoove a person to learn how to show people that this is the better way and not force them into a position where they're subjected to you. So I'm looking at the story of Asar, and I see the striking difference of governing of the land. So Asar was in control over a portion of the land. When he got that control, he first assessed the situation and he saw there needed to be a change. He saw what the people were doing and he was like, this is not the way I'm envisioning the land to be. So he brought civilization and spirituality to the people. When of that type of life and more, then all the people were like, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. He started to give them a body of laws to regulate their conduct, settling their disputes justly, and instructing them in the science of spiritual development. So basically, he gave order to their lives. He was like, look, if y'all got any problems, y'all bring that problems to me. Don't be out fighting in the street because, one of y'all going to end up dead or, one of your sons going to end up dead. Bring the issues to me if y'all can't solve it. We'll figure out a way and I'll be fair and then we can work out it like that. So nobody's got time to sit there and die off of you guys' issues. So bring it to me. So the people started doing that and they noticed that, okay, he's being just in this. We're getting our problem solved and and both of us are walking away. Instead of nowadays, I'm mad at you, you mad at me, I'm gonna shoot you because I'm mad at you. Instead of, if we can't talk it out, we can bring it to an elder and have that elder help us and be wise and say this is what should happen, and both parties can walk away and still have their lives. So he's showing them a better way. He's showing them, look and see what I've done in my particular family. Look and see how we have set this up. Here's some things that we are doing. See how you can be abundant by doing this, by working this way. And so he shared his rulership with his wife, Aset. She was checking out how to feed the people. As most, people do, they want to know how we gonna eat. As most mothers do, we have to make sure that our people is taken care of. You got food in your belly, everybody got food in their belly, we feeling good? She was checking out how to feed the people. So instead of having to go out and search for different plants, because you would think of, back in the day, if they haven't, started their farming or whatever, you're talking about hunting and gathering. Gathering means you're going and foraging in the wilderness. There might be a forest out there. You go out there, you pick these berries, you pick this from the ground, and you know that this particular plant can help you make bread, and that's very important. So if you're looking at wheat or you're looking at barley or something like that, those are important staples. And so these things would grow in the wild. And so she noticed how people had to do, and she was like, you know what? I think I can figure out a better way. And that's what leaders do. They look and they try to problem solve of what's going on with the people in the land. She saw that people were having to go out and find, say, let's take wheat. People were having to go out and find wheat plants, and the stuff was on the ground. They were having to pick the stuff up off the ground. So she domesticated it. See, wheat comes from wild emmer, which is a self-pollinating winter annual grass. So in the wild, when the wheat is ripe, the rachis, or the stem that keeps the wheat shafts together, they shatter so that the seeds can disperse themselves. So it's self-pollinating. So the seeds are coming out so they can grow more wheat. Okay. Without that hole, they can quickly germinate. So when the seed pops out, then it comes to the ground and they can germinate in the ground, and then there's more and more of the wheat plants all over the place. So Aset was like, if we can get this wheat after it's ripe and ready, but before those seeds hit the ground, my sisters ain't got to be out walking around all day picking up all that stuff off the ground. We can just cut down the plant, and we can take the thing in its entirety, and we can have more of it, We don't have to be bending over all day trying to pick up little pieces of seeds up off the ground. So she could get and she would take it, and then she would be able to give the seeds to her husband, who was showing the men how to farm. And then that made finding food and getting food easier for the people. So they say that Aset domesticated the wheat and the barley plant. So that means that that was a solving to a problem that she saw that the people had. This is an issue. I see my people are suffering because, man, it's hard to go out there and get them seeds off the ground. It's hard to go and figure out where all those plants are. It's hard to go do all this all day. When my husband knows how to farm, all I have to do is figure out how to get those seeds and put them in a specific place so that everybody can put them in a specific place. And once she got that information, she didn't keep that to herself. She shared that information with the people. She gave that to the people, because that's what leaders do. They see a problem, they make something to solve the problems for the people, and then they let the people know about it. They do that thing themselves. They say, look, I know this works because look at my farm right now. Look at what I've went out and did this myself. So look at my wheat is all growing in my wheat area, and my barley is all growing in my barley area. So when I want to get some wheat or some barley, I don't have to go all the way into the bush. I can walk outside my door and pick all the things I need for my family and be able to make my bread. So she domesticated the wheat and the barley, so that solved the major problems for the people under their governance. So the people chose to be governed by the laws that Asar put out. Asar was like, this is going great. Let me share this with others. Again, sharing. We're going to keep coming back to that piece of goodness. He didn't just keep it for himself and his family. They didn't just keep it for the people of their particular jurisdiction. He said, look, I'm going to go everywhere. Everybody needs to know how to do this, because when I got here, people were fighting over all kinds of things. Now people have enough food so that they can make it for their family and their neighbor's family, and people are sharing, people are happy, the people's bellies are full. Things are going great. I said, I'm gonna take a trip. I'm gonna all of these things. You in charge. She was like, cool, do that. I support you. I got this, right? So he left his wife in charge and he did his world tour. That at that time, that was at page 140 that I read earlier. Then he left her in charge. And when he went out, this is what he did. He induced people to accept his teachings, not by force of arms, but by the use of persuasive lectures, spiritual hymns, and music. Wherever he went, he brought peace and learning to the people. So this is the way the information was disseminated. He did not go out and say, if you don't believe the way I believe, I'm gonna murder you. He didn't say that. He didn't use scare tactics. He didn't say, if you don't do what I tell you to do, if you don't accept what I tell you to accept, you're gonna burn forever, or you're gonna die, or anything of that nature. He persuaded them by talking to them, using his intellect, his voice, and his words. When you're able to think clearly, you can tell people things and you can persuade them by the use of your words. That's one thing that you would see in our ancestors' writings, that is something of a virtue. When you're able to get your ideas and your thoughts out clearly to where people can understand you, it's persuasive, so that they're like, let me think about what you're saying. And then he sang songs. He didn't go out and try to say, I'm gonna murder you. He said, let me sing you a song about this. He's like hooking up like the Sama'at. Like, hey, let me give you this verse real quick. And they're like, I like those lyrics. I'm gonna keep listening to you. And inside lyrics, teaching them people inside the lyrics. And they was like, I'm loving this. Because you know how Black people do with the tune. We gotta have that tune. And when we do, we're like, yes, I'm with it. And then he was showing and proof. And a lot of times we're like that. We're just not going to take your word for it. We're like, hey, you know what? That cat down the road, he came into town and he's showing all of the people what to do. And look, he's got Uncle so-and-so's got a farm in his backyard. He done showed him how to grow the wheat up. He done showed him how to have the barley. And Uncle so-and-so eating it with his kids. I'm going to do the same thing. Let me see what's going on with this Asar person. So then as he's showing them these things, it's bringing peace. It's bringing harmony. Because this is what people want. It's simple things. But when the government is so crazy about power and force, they're not thinking. They're not listening. The people want to be able to have a respected dignity of life. We want food, clothing, adequate shelter. These things are basic. But when these things are taken on by the government, you know what? The people are calmer. The people will listen. But when you got people homeless in the street, people can't eat, people is hungry, you take people down to those basic levels of what they gotta survive. That reptilian brain is kicking in and they gotta do a survival tactics. So he did that world tour. And then now we saw, while he's gone, if you know the story, while he's gone, his brother Set comes in, and when he comes back from his world tour doing all the good, his brother comes and murders him. Now that's another whole message in of itself, because a lot of times we think that, okay, I'm doing good, nothing bad should happen to me, but we're looking at Asar. And we're thinking to ourselves, hey, he was doing good. And his brother came in here and murdered him. His brother. Okay, so that's a whole nother message to itself. I digress. Let me get back to the point. So we're going back, and now that Asar has taken the throne. Set has taken over the throne. He's killed his brother, and Set is taken the throne. And it says, meanwhile, Set usurped the throne of Asar and reigned over the land of Kemet. Law and order which followed from the moral upliftment of the people, because that's what Asar was doing. He was giving the people moral upliftment. And that's one of the reasons why the society was going so well. The moral upliftment of the people was replaced by the use of force. So instead of trying to morally uplift the people, he started to try to force them to do everything. Everywhere, men were robbed of their possessions and land through legal unjust means. Once owners, they were now renters and wage earners. Tyranny and law of might prevailed as the divine law was repealed. Everywhere, the followers of Asar who lived by Ma'at were persecuted. We're looking at right now abuse of power. Once you have power, to me, it's like you have responsibility. You have responsibility to the people. But here in the United States, it's about abusing your power. It's about taking the power and wanting it for yourself, for your own personal self, not getting power so that you're able and capable of helping the people. That's not what he was trying to do. He's trying to use force, and he's trying to rob the people of what it is that they have gained already. And it says in here, legal, unjust means. So these things are legal, but they are unjust. And we see that all the time. And that is something that I'm preaching to the choir about. Legal unjust means these things happen all the time. It's legal for you to do this, but that is not just. The law is wrong. I remember one time we had a problem with our car. The car had been down for a while, and my husband had just finished, he was trying to fix it, and our tags had expired. And so it was a big thing outside because we made it a big thing. They were trying to steal our car because our tags had expired. They hadn't, we had not. And some people were like, well, if they stick the sticker on your thing, then you should know, you should move it, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, but no, there was no sticker on the car. They came by and they tried to take the car, and they're saying, look, your tags have been expired for this amount of time. We are legally, we can take the car. But my point is, this car is not yours to take. I owe no money on this car. We've paid for this car lock, stock, and barrel. The car was not working. We let it go. And he was working on it. So what my thing is that was my possession. So it's legal for you to come steal my car. And so the police are there. The tow truck people are there. And the police are like, I'm just trying to uphold the law. I said, oh, I'm talking to the wrong person. And I walked away and started talking to somebody else. Because if that's what you're trying to do here, is try to uphold the law is wrong. And we're talking to the wrong people. And there's no way we're getting anywhere. And so these are legal but unjust means. Any other way, if that woman who was trying to take my car didn't have that badge on, her taking my car would be theft. Legal, unjust means. And this is one of the things that's happening now when Set's taking over the land. He's doing things that might be legal, but these things are not just. He's doing things within the law that he set there, but they're not just. He's taking away land from people who have owned the land. And he's like, now you must pay money to the king. You must pay money to the king. Somebody who has already owned their land now no longer owns their land because, oh, the king wants money. And the only thing I have is my land. So now I got to leverage my land and now I owe you money. So now I got to go out and try to find a job to be able to pay, I'm now a wage earner when before I worked on my land for the benefit of my family. I was my own boss. I owned my own land. Now you're saying that now that you're the king, I owe you money. You're leveraging my land. And now, now I got to go get myself a job. Now I'm a wage earner. So you went from owning your own farm, making your own way for your family, and having a beautiful life to, okay, now I got to get up in the morning. And not only do I have to work on my own farm, but I got to go down the street and work on so-and-so's farm too, because I owe the king some amount of money that he just made up that I owe him. Legal unjust means. So it said once owners, they were now renters and wage earners. Tyranny and the law of might prevailed. Tyranny is cruel and oppressive government rule by one who has absolute power without legal right. He could just do whatever he wanted to do. That's just basically how that was. He lived by that means of might versus right. And I'm going to do whatever it is I want. You can't do whatever it is you want, but I'm going to do whatever it is I want. And that's how I'm going to run this land. I'm just going to do whatever. So now we've looked at a land governed by choice versus a land governed by force. So currently living in this land, right now in America. We live in a land governed by force. We live in a land that might equals right. That's where we live. This country is in waves of turmoil. The rules that are put out for the people to obey are not themselves obeyed by the people who put them out. So we're looking at parallels between what's going on here in America and what was going on back when Set was ruler of Kemet. The basic needs of the people are not met or even addressed sometimes with the government because they are too busy trying to police people that are hurt by that same system that they created. If they would pay attention to the needs of the people, the basic needs of the people, and make sure people have clothing, make sure people have shelter, make sure people have decent education, make sure people have food to eat, there's not going to be so much turmoil in the land because people don't really like turmoil. We like to be comfortable. We like to be set in our ways. We like to be chill. We like to just do our thing. But if you got me on some legal unjust means and I'm out in the street with my kids, oh, guess what? There's going to be some problems. There's going to be some jumping on city hall walls and scaling up the scaffolding. There's going to be those things. Americans like that thought process of the show of physical strength. And that if I can whoop your behind, if I can make you cower in the corner, then I'm better than you. Like here the master is always better than the servant. But in reality, everything the master is depends upon the knowledge, the skill, and the willingness of the servant. That master is nothing if the servant says, I'm not doing this. Most of the time in history, you can see our ancestors, they had skills. They had skills that the master did not have. They had skills that the master did not have. So who is better than whom? They had a lot of skills the master did not have. But because it's might versus right, because he had the country behind him, and we had a whole lot of stuff that we had to deal with, they wanted to take on that they were better than our ancestors. So let's take that in. Let's understand our nature. The Most High in creation said everybody in his own nature. An angel does not have free will to veer from his job. An ant cannot make a conscious spiritual decision to overcome any bad habits. An ant cannot do that. A rabbit cannot decide that today I want to be a meat eater. I just want to eat some meat. A rabbit can't do that. Nor can a lion forsake all meats in 2021 in order to save the planet. That's against a lion's nature. Humans have been given free will. That's our trait. That's a gift. Therefore, the Most High does not force us. He does not force us to love him. Most High does not force us to obey him. Most High does not force us to serve him. He wants us to do things by choice. When those of us who are married or ever had a significant other, those of us who ever had a really good friend, a best friend, are we friends with that person knowing that we want to force them to be friends with us? We're going to hold a gun to their head and say, hey, you're going to be my friend. Or like that little girl bully who likes that little boy, she going to punch him in the arm and be like, you're my boyfriend now. That's how we're working. Is that the kind of relationship that we want? Is that the kind of relationship that the Most High is showing us to have? To force each other to be in relationship with each other? No. He's quietly speaking every day, wanting us asking us to be in relationship with him. But I'm never going to force you. I'm going to say, wake up. Wake up, Brother Katabazi. Wake up, Minister Alicia. Wake up, Minister Molly. Wake up, Sister Nkichi. Good morning. I love you. Would you like to come and talk to me today? And that's a question for us every morning when we open our eyes. Most High is not going to be, wake up and sit at your altar prayer and sit at your altar place and pray now. That's not how that works. That's never how that works. Most High will not force you to pray, but he will wait for your words. Most High will not force you to obey when he tells you, that's not the right direction to go. Baby, you need to go this way. He's not going to force you to go the way that he's showing you. He's not going to force you to go the way that he's illuminated for you. It's your choice. And he's given you that choice. He's also not going to force you to govern your life. For us, in this story of Asar, Aset, and Set and Heru, we also got to look at it as an inner governance. We're not going to be forced to put God on the throne in our lives. To say, okay, God, nope, I'm just going to let you have it because you're forcing me to do so, so go ahead and take it over. No, that's not how that works either. You have that free will. You have that choice to be in relationship with the Most High. You have that choice to say, Most High, I want you on the throne. This is what we call remembering Asar. When Asar was remembered, put back together, he was placed on the throne. So for us in our lives, we're not going to have Most High forcing us to do these things. It's got to be that choice. Because this is a hard road. It's not a simple path. It's not a path that's wide and gaping and filled with light and flowers everywhere. So Most High is saying, I need people who can go through and cut down the bush so that they're able to see a path. I need people that is so in search of me that they're going to have to let go of their ego, that they're going to have to cut down thorns and be stabbed with things as they walking through the path, saying, Most High is telling me to go this way. It looks really scary, but I'm going to go because I'm going to be obedient. He needs those people because those are the people that's strong. Those are the people that has got to be in his army. If you're soft, you can't be in the army. I'm sorry. Because this is not a war for soft people. We can't have that. Because once you have that weak link, once you have that soft person, it's like, ooh, all your secrets are probably going to be gone to the enemy. We need this. This is a fight. If you knew somebody was finna jump you, you ain't gonna go get your little sister, who may be 5 years old, who cries in the corner. You're gonna go get your big brother, and you're gonna be like, look, I know y'all finna jump me, but look who I got with me. Can Most High say that about you? Are you a soldier? You got that strength, you got that knowledge, you got that wisdom, you got that understanding, and it's not nothing that he can force you to do. That's not his desire to force us. I don't want to force my husband to love me. Sally, you're going to love me and you're going to love me now. That's not the way I want him. I want my husband to be like, I choose to love you. And I want to be able to be free to choose to love him too. I wouldn't want him forcing me to love him. You're going to love me regardless. No, I choose to love you regardless. And that's the relationship that we have to understand that we also have with the Most High. Because he chooses to love us regardless. Regardless if he nudged us awake this morning and said, oh, wake up. Do you want to come talk to me, be in a relationship with me this morning? Do you want to talk to me this morning? And we tell him no. And we get up and we go brush our teeth and we go about our day. Regardless of that. He said, no, I want you to choose to be with me. I want you to choose to love me. I want you to choose to obey me. I want you to choose to serve me. I want that choice, because if we are not making that choice, if we're feeling like, okay, we have to be forced to do something, that's not something that's going to last. This is not about a scare tactic. You're not going to hell if you miss a day of prayer. But you know what? You'll be having so much more growth if you do take that time to be in prayer. Just like when you're nurturing relationships with people. If I never spend time with you, if you know that my love language is my time, and I never spend time with you, guess what? You're not going to have it within your spirit and your soul that I love you at all. We can't even get to know each other. You can't even be able to see the things to see how I work, to see the things that I enjoy, to see what I love, to see what makes me happy. And if we never spend that time with the Most High, if we never put the Most High on the throne, if we never say, I got to diminish my ego, Most High, because you got to be the one. You got to be the one in my life. Take control. You know how when they say, oh, Jesus, take the wheel. You know, some people will say that, but then they're like, okay, give me the wheel back. No, wait, hold on. That can't work like that. If you say take the wheel, you just let that go. Because really, another thing about force, about governing ourselves with force versus governing ourselves by choice, is like, for me, I feel like you're governing yourself with force if you don't allow the Most High to enter, and you don't choose him to be over your life. And I mean over your life, not just when I can't figure it out, not just, on the side, but in control. If you're not giving him governance, then you're governing it yourself. You're governing your body by force. And I'm going to tell you how. How many times have you wanted to do something but couldn't make it happen? How many times have you done something that you really didn't want to do? How many times have you, oh, these are my New Year's resolutions, and then at the end of next year, you look down your list and you didn't do any of them? You're forcing. You're putting things on yourself that doesn't need to be there. You're forcing your spirit, you're forcing your body, you're trying to take over and do things by force that doesn't need to be done. If you just let that go and say, hey, I'm going to be governed by choice, and I choose the Most High. Most High is going to take care of that. I want to do what the Most High wants me to do. What you want to do today, girl? I want to do what the Most High wants me to do. Okay. Ultimately, within ourselves, we have to make the choice to no longer be governed by force, but by choice. Choose the Most High to govern your life. And that's how we win this. We're here for the perfection of our spirit. We're not here for anything else. So we have to understand that this winning of this war, it can't be by force. Not that type of force. That stuff needs to happen. I'm not saying it doesn't need to happen, because Brother Malik put it in the chat. Wait, I wrote it down because I thought this was awesome. He said, keep praying, but pass the ammo. I'm down with that. So, hey, don't get me twisted. Don't get me twisted. And you think that, oh, she's all about peace, and we can't go into. No, that right there, what he's saying is like so relevant. I should get it tattooed on my forehead. We have to fight this in every single level. Because like we say in our statements, and what we believe and what we practice, we have the right to establish peace and justice in this land. Heru had to fight Set, period. He had to fight Set. He didn't just, I'm just gonna pray about it. He did go ask for wisdom. He did humble himself and go to Tahuti and ask for wisdom on how do I win this thing? That is taking out that ego and saying, Most High, I need you at the top. I need you at the forefront. I need you on this wheel. I need you to pilot this plane. I need you to do these things. And I'm going to sit back and be the instrument that you use to win this war. To win this war against Set. To win this war against might over right. To win this war against police brutality, to win this war against all this hatefulness, the evil, the injustice that's taking over the land. I want to put Asar back together. I want to remember Asar. We have that right to establish these things as the people of God. And when I'm not talking about no Christian crusades, that's not what I'm talking about. If you don't believe the way we believe, we're going to kill you. Like, no, I'm not talking about that. That's whack. We, as the people of the Most High, are here to do the work of the Most High. We put him in control, and then we say to ourselves, I'm going to be the best me that I can be so that I'm prepared when the Most High needs that fight. Whether that fight needs to be on the spiritual, or whether that fight needs to be in the courtroom, or whether that fight needs to be in the classroom, or whether that fight needs to be in the boardroom, wherever the Most High placed you to fight, we have to be equipped to fight. That part is our job. To be equipped, to do the studies, to do the meditations, to do the prayers, to do the rituals. These things are for us to do. That's in my arsenal. That's my bullets. That's my rifle. That's my gun. That's my AK-47. So when the Most High said, let's go to war, I'm not trying to go call somebody and be like, hey, you got a gun? Hey, you got some bullets? No, I'm ready. What we say? If you got to be ready, stay ready. Don't go get ready. Stay ready. Be ready. Always be ready. So make sure that we understand. Like Brother Malik put in the chat, because that was so awesome. Keep praying, but pass the ammo. Like for real. We have to understand these things. No, we're not gonna, we wouldn't be the people that is going to be working this by force. We don't rule by force. That's not gonna have to, that does not work. Most High shows us that. Most High shows us that we're not gonna be ruling by force. He doesn't rule by force. His people should not rule by force. That's not the rulership that Most High wants for his people. The people in Asar's land chose to follow Asar. They had peace and harmony on the land because their needs were taken care of. So that's how you work that land with people, and that's how you work that land in and of yourself. So I want to read again. I'm going to show you this book again, because I saw somebody ask for it in the chat. Metaneter, Volume 2, Anukasar by Ra Unefer Amen. And so we're getting ready to read the Hosea. And let's go to page 86, where it says, I shall speak of what is before me. I will never foretell that which will not come. A strange bird will breed in the Delta Marsh and make its nest beside the people of Egypt. For the people will let it approach through lack of action. And afterwards, all good things will pass away. Beasts of the deserts will drink at the river of Egypt and take their ease on the shores, for they will have no one to fear. The land is in turmoil and no one knows what will come to pass. For what the future will bring is hidden. And as it is said, when sight and hearing fail the many, those who cannot speak will lead. So just remember that we should be governed by choice, not by force. Amen. Ashe.
Well, now everyone can see why Minister Alicia is my favorite speaker. She broke down the mysteries of Wasir, Asar. It's not by force, it's by choice. Nobody wants to be forced to do anything. Give thanks for that message today, Minister Alicia. I took some notes. I was trying to keep up, but you put so much in there. You gave us the books of contemplation, page 85, 1 and 2, and then you read from Rahu Nefer's Medu Necher, number 2. And you told us it's always going to be troubled times. You know, everything is not always cool. And whoa, what a powerful message. I'm glad it was recorded so that we could go back and listen to it. We extend the invitation to you now. If you'd like to officially be a part of us, don't stand on the sideline. Raise your hand on this Zoom. Raise your hand physically. Someone will see, and we extend the invitation to you. This is your time now to come forward and join. I see Baba Ustadi. I'm glad to see him. Ustadi, I sent you a text. I'm glad you're letting me know that you're okay, because we missed you in the libation. Give thanks for that. Is there anyone that would like to come? What a beautiful song today! That second song that the Sounds of Ma'at gave us today. That's another smash. We need to put a little bit more reggae bass in it, though. You know, because that's where I'm at. But hey. What a smash, what a upliftment of our heart and mind for the song. What an upliftment for the candle of justice today. What an upliftment for the historical tribute today. Telling us about house calls. Yes, all of this is here at Wose Community. If you would just step forward, we would love to receive you. You know, as Minister Alicia was talking, I was thinking of the Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers song, World So Corrupt. And one of the lines in that is, lies they tell cheaper than bread. What they do, starve the people of the truth. And then he says, secretly, the system programs the pain in disguise of everyday life problems. Minister Alicia broke that down in that message so well. Give thanks. That's right, AJ. That's right. I've been reading your things in the chat. Give thanks for that. None are coming forward. I guess we're all probably members today, huh? We're all official. I see Michelle there. Michelle Cummins is a member, but Brother Katabazi is a member. Minister Molly and Sister Rana is there. All the people, John and Marilyn. Nikichi, holding it down in DC. Be careful now. You know them people are crazy. I know you have the warrior spirit. Anybody born on December 29th will have to have the warrior spirit. But be careful out there because these people don't care a thing about you. You got to be careful out there. Give thanks and praise. I see Mama Al-Kabelan on the Zoom today. So I know that everything is in alignment. Alicia, Mama Al-Kabelan, Sister Latrice, Mama Rana, Brother Bill. Brother Bill has such a quick, he gets in there and puts the information down for us. Everybody comments on it. Keep doing that, Bill. Though none have come, the message has been proclaimed in a powerful and magnificent way. And now we're going to move on to the sounds of my aunt. It's going to give us Lift Every Voice and Sing. Minister Alicia is going to close us out, and then we'll have our announcements by Mama Darnisha today.
All right, Ashe. We got the 3-verse version today. It's the remix.
Lift every voice and sing to earth and heaven. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. They sing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on to victory. This one. Show me the road we trod, visit the chest we ride. Felt in the days when hope before had died. Yet with a steady beat and not a weary feet, come to the place on which our Father side. We have come over that which is and has been in order. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out of the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white beam of our star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, now who has purposed us far on the way. Now is by thy might, you listen to the light, keep us forever on the path we pray. Bless our feet strength from the places our God where we met thee. Bless hearts drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Settle beneath the hand, and we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
Now
Work in
into the-
progress, fam.
Awesome.
I need some stone singers on there. That's what I need. Waiting for that to be able to be happening.
Ashe. Now unto the one who is able to lift us up faultlessly before the throne on high. May they empower us to be one people,
One people,
one aim,
one
One
aim,
A,
one destiny,
one
One destiny,
one love,
one
one
love,
love,
one heart,
one
one
heart,
heart,
one God.
one God.
And let us call upon the name of that one God as our elders and our ancestors have done for countless times and for time immemorial. Let us all say, Ah.
Amen. Ra.
In tune or attitude, you are the most beautiful people in the face
Face
of
of this earth. Ashe.
Ashe.